you.
That's what I like to say for sure.
And it's such an honor. I'm not kidding. Love the project. And there's a lot of new stuff coming up. So it's great to talk to you. But maybe for people that don't recognize your beautiful hair, beautiful eyes, who the hell are you, man?
uh, what's up, dude? I'm Richie. I'm the singer of Incite, heavy metal band out of Phoenix, Arizona. We're out here dropping some new music, getting ready for tours, new albums, all sorts of stuff, man. So if you know us, it's going.
Hell
Thanks for
yeah.
uh, thanks for having me, brother.
And you're also part of a beautiful family, the Cavalera family.
Yeah, man, fucking legends. Out here continuing on that heavy metal legacy, bro. It's quite an honor for real.
I spoke with Max a couple of weeks ago, actually days. And it was great because there's a lot of stuff coming out in your way. And it's so great that, the family contribute to create music. And I know you have such, it's in your blood. And when it comes to create, it's always with intensity. And that project Incite is a good example of that. But let's get back to when you were a kid. I'm
Yeah.
curious how you start discovering music and how much people around you influence you into that quest, coming from a musical family.
Yeah, I mean, in the early days, my mom, was really a pioneer in, heavy metal and really forming that path. I think that this family took. She started a like metal bar slash restaurant thing in Arizona in like 1984, 83. And I was born in the hospital and came right to that bar, you know, like Poison playing, Flotsam and Jetsam, Sacred Reich, and Rob Halford being like a total regular. Like the day I came home from the hospital, he literally walks in the office and throws me the metal horns. So I think it was like my, him ordaining me to get going into metal, man. And then it just grew from there. My mom was very open to helping the early metal scene. Like bands like Nuclear Assault would come crash on the couch. Atrophy, Sacred Reich, all these things that were intertwining with our existence as kids trying to grow up as like little humans. With an independent mom. Kicking ass, and then bringing in Max into our family, and really just blowing the roof off the metal world in every way. Like we were on tour, it was just everything we knew, So it was definitely the path I had to take, and I loved it. The moment I remember even memories. So
This is pretty wicked and amazing. Like, I mean, like anybody that met Rob know that he's such not just a legend, but such a great human being and such a great open heart guy. And it's great. Like you said, it's a curse or it's a good thing, but you got into it right there. Of course, you got the blessing of the godfather of metal. So it
yeah, it's
starts like
pretty
that,
cool.
and then everything is in place. So you're born into that world. But one thing that I love, I've got kids now, and with the
Yeah.
radio show, I start bring them to show like when they actually like you, like a couple of months with their headphone. Don't worry, they're safe. And but yeah, we
Yeah.
start to bring them to mostly festival because not it's not all age. There's not a lot of all age venue in Quebec, but and
Yeah.
it's great that you were incorporate to that world, not trying to hide that or something because it's a
Yeah.
positive thing. And I love Max told me that last time. It's metal is so positive. I know the image.
Oh,
My
yeah.
mother was freaking out back in the days, but when
Yeah.
you get to it, you learn that it's a beautiful family. So it's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
when
man.
the idea of Inside came out and how the band started up for people that unaware of the story.
Yeah, I mean, and going back to what you just said, yeah, it's like a therapy release, man. Heavy metal is that. And I feel like a therapist slash counselor when, we're performing these shows. It's like a healthy release, it's not, uh, you know, a bad thing in any ways. And yeah, Insight came about from that, growing up on my metal adventure, it was like, once like high school was done, I knew this was finally the time I was like ready to go. You know, there was no more school in my way. There was nothing stopping me. So, you know, me and a couple buddies from school just began playing local shows, you know, just really feeling out what being a band was all about, creating your own music, you know, and then you know, the whole thing, just making merchandise, figuring out promoters and other bands in the scene and how competitive it all was. And, you know, it was crazy, you know, in 2004, 2005. Like it was really intense. Arizona, though, had a great scene. You know, it was a great place for local bands and new bands to really get a footing. You know, people came out, they supported. There were killer local bands at the time when I started. So there were big crowds and all this learning that you could do, you know. And then finally, when I felt like the band was ready, the songs were ready, we embarked on a Soulfly tour with Throwdown and Fine Eyes Bleed. And man, it was, and Blood Simple, actually. It was like, such a cool experience, man. To like, we went and bought a van with our own money. It was a piece of crap. We, you know, made one shirt that sucked, and we burned our CDs in the van, dude, from show to show. And you know, they were stapled and, you know, printed at like the local copy store with like just 2 pages. I mean, it was the cheapest thing ever made. And you know, just figured out things, learned. You know, I took a lot of years learning about members. You know, who's dedicated, who is just there for the fun, and that took some time. So now I think you've seen the band now come into its own. Lennon and L, you know, we're going on like 13 years of playing together. So I think that camaraderie, that brotherhood. Now Lane being a part of it, a fellow Canadian shredder, great dude, humble, and you know, just an artist. You know, playing piano, acoustic, 12 string, whatever needed for this record, and also writing. So I think now you see the presence of Incite becoming a formidable heavy metal band that people are realizing, like, damn, how we've been sleeping on these guys.
It's so true. It's crazy. Like the metal world, it's crazy for one thing. There's so much band, and some it
Yeah.
takes some times to like being recognized by worldwide. But you did your class, and the thing is, you built slowly something that it's so strong that nothing can
Yeah.
destroy that at that point after 30 years. And like you said, it's cool that you because like there's so much band that rush themselves and want everything when they started up, but it's step by step. There's so much angle to being in a band, like you said, like you
Yeah.
mentioned, just like the friendship and the camaraderie, that can become like rivalry and pain and because it's rough. Everybody has their different motivation and reason why they're there. So it's a great point. Like Ben have to know that it can take like to 15 years just to make it, where you that ID, being what it is. And I'm
Yeah.
sure like when you started up, and that's the point I'm trying to say is, you have that ID, you have that song, but it takes time to realize it. And I'm sure with the new records, it's kind of where you want it from day one to be, but it takes times and it's not easy, but it's fucking fun at the end.
Oh yeah, I mean, over the last 13 years with Lennon and L, I think we've been a part of everything you can experience in music and outside forces, to where now we can handle anything. We're ready for all the things I think that come with growing and becoming a bigger band. And we have this vision of being a staple, a leader, an influence on metal. And that's our goal, and reaching as many people with our message and our music, and connecting and feeling that sense of camaraderie at these shows and when you're listening to a record. So I feel very proud about where this band has come and going, looking forward.
I think you nail it. I think we're all here to connect, and I think
Yeah.
that music is a good way. And after
Yeah.
all, when you look at it, it's vibration,
Yeah.
So and it's cool that with that community, we're building something that it's bigger than everybody. So you're
Yeah.
kind of working for the music, it's like the
Oh
force,
yeah.
it's in you, and you
Oh yeah.
serve that, and you create the way you want it, and you create something that it's not there that you want to be there. So it's crazy that, and like you said, you should have the salary of a therapist because it's rough. There's not much money right now
Yeah.
with happening around the world, but it's so cool that it's rough year, but people are like warriors on the road, and they want to share that music, and they know how people feel. I feel well after a show. Like it can be like three
Oh, yeah.
4 days straight. I've got those songs and that energy. Like when I saw recently Meshuggah with Cannibal Corpse, I was out like for 4 days straight with all those songs in my head and that great energy, you know and I think that's like you said, it's something that we need as human, and we're all there to connect. And it's cool that you understood that. A lot of bands
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
There's ego and the money and everything, but at the end I think it's all about creating.
Yeah. I think it's fun because, yeah, I went through all of those stages, and now it is just fully about creating. We have Lennon writing songs, we have Lane writing songs, them coming together like the first time in our process, writing together in a real environment, not over the laptop. And the camaraderie of a band is truly what makes bands become great. I think, once, like you said, putting that ego stuff aside, it creates, and people can feel that and come together under like one meaning rather than like everybody being so separate all the time. So yeah, music is a special thing that humans possess, and that we definitely push for that unity vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a choice. There's artists that, are really free control and they know it, and it's
Yeah,
cool. They
yeah,
are musician and they don't like, but when it comes to band, yeah, it's to find that balance. It's pretty hard, but like the chemistry and what it's creating by every soul in the band, it's something. And the new songs are pretty amazing. Is it more easy with time to create new music, or it's still a huge struggle since you challenge yourself to do something, every time that it's more powerful?
yeah. I think for us as a band, it's something that we don't take lightly. It's a serious time for us. It always has been for me, but especially going back with Wake Up Dead, the previous record, and then into this one. As I said, the writing process is so different now, so we get to enjoy what we're doing so much more. So when I'm hearing these songs from them, sending them to me like the rough bits, it's so exciting to feel musically that we're heading where we want to as music fans, and what we think we want to present to people musically. So what we're creating now is the band that we've like always looked to be. And we just look forward to everybody now getting to enjoy this record, because the three songs we put out so far, I think, have so much genre influence from all different parts, but come together to create this just such cool feel. And it's kind of something we've done forever, where each record kind of has a song or two that do touch on these other genres and bring into our music. And now we've been able to like put that together. And Steve Evans, the producer who's done our last four records, is just phenomenal. He's grown with us. He's seen the band evolve and how good we've gotten, from him fighting with the old guitar player to now having a great experience with that guy. So you see the change that's occurred for this record, to have this environment where it's like we can give everything. I can always be pissed off about enough stuff in life, and that's what music does. It lets that come out, and then you look at it from a positive perspective when you're done, of like moving forward, and that's done with. And now I can share it with everybody and let them feed off of my shit that I've been through.
Yeah, yeah, because it's kind of yours till you release it, and when you
Yeah.
release it to the public, it grow in them, and they have different vision, different. I'm sure you heard many times somebody saying, "Oh, that song's, it really helped me out," and you're like, "It's not talking about that, but it's great that your soundtrack about it has developed around that." And
Oh yeah.
people that's different emotion, different vibe from everything, so it's great. And I think that you're right.
Thanks, man.
I think Wake Up the Dead was a fucking amazing records, but that one is kind of a step with the originality and everything, which was
Yeah.
always there, and that's kind of what I'm looking for in music. And it's great because band that embrace every style and don't leave door closed. I think that's
Yeah.
the one that are the most interesting and reach more people. I mean, if you
Oh
take, for
yeah,
example, the Clash when they open up to reggae and rap, um, they become like those kind of god in every style of music because
yeah,
they connect people together that maybe they would never connect in other ways. So it's great that
it's true.
you want to achieve that and you're open to that.
Yeah, I think that's what brings us to this record. Was just like, obviously, if you've listened to our old stuff, we can put heavy music out. We can do rip and thrash songs. We can do pit songs, stompers, whatever it is. We do that very good. But on this album, it was like taking that further, not being afraid, not being pressured to sound a certain way, and just feeling free when it came to the writing process and what direction. Obviously, it'll have those underlying vibes that's Incite, which is heavy groove. And now we've been able to add to that melodicness and a new vocal presence. I think you feel very largely on this record, and the solo work, the bass, the production, just all of it has just shown where we can get to and where we're going. And I think the records that'll follow this one too will also be intriguing to the ears. I like to call this record.
I like it. But it
Yeah, man.
worked. It really worked. It's not one of those records that you listen just one time because there's a lot
Yeah,
of stuff. So every time you listen, you discover something new, and that's another thing that I love
yeah.
about metal. There's records that 20 years later, I'm like, I don't listen the same way that the first time, and I don't hear the same thing because there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so how's gonna be 2025 the rest of the year for you guys?
Oh, this is gonna be rad, man. We have another single coming out called Lies, June 25th. That'll be the fourth song from this upcoming record that we're putting out. And the video is gonna be killer. It was shot by all the metalheads at a concert we played. They recorded with their phones from different angles, different feelings, different screen, whatever. So comprising all that together is gonna be really cool experience for everybody to coincide with this raging song, because I think that song is it's a chest hitter for sure. It's a drive fast, get pissed type of thing, which is cool. And then we'll be embarking on the Summer Slaughter tour, which for us is massive. We don't care like who's on it, what's on it. We just want to tour. We want to perform these songs, our old songs, and get back to doing what we do really well, and that's performing and bringing energy and creating a good time for people. And that's what our job is at the end of the day. So we're stoked. And then the album will come out in August 15th everywhere, and that's exciting for us to tour and then release a record and then get back on tour again in the fall. So we're rolling. Next year should be even crazier. We should have some Europe, some Canadian dates, South America, etc. So big things are happening. We don't want to stop. We want to go full board. Really tear it up.
Yeah, that would be great because we like I said, I did interview with every member of your family, and I'm like, come on, Quebec
That's
is
cool, man.
fucking ready. Like the whole Canada is shutting out since the pandemic for you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
It will be great because Quebec is the capital of metal. We love metal,
Oh yeah.
and since the pandemic, things are crazy right now. It's so cool. There's a lot of tour, and every band are really surprised. I think we kind Montreal and Quebec are more Montreal because it's bigger, but they kind of got lost in they lost the excitement because we're growing old. I'm
Yeah,
43.
yeah.
But
Oh
since
yeah.
the pandemic, the energy is back, man. I feel like I'm 20. Life is short, so let's give it up. So it's gonna be great. So we're
We did
waiting
some
for
cool
that.
shows up there. We did some
Yeah,
cool shows up there, and I think it was 2023. We played a couple, and we love going up there. I believe we might have some shows up there on this fall tour that's coming up. So I'm crossing my fingers when I see those tour dates.
Bookers, write them, and of course, people go write them. We want to see them everywhere. The artwork is amazing. Who did the artwork?
Yeah, that's one of our longtime friends, Marcelo Vasco, and he's an incredible artist. He's done bands like Slayer and Deicide and Soulfly and Kerry King. I think when he reads the lyrics and thinks about the music, I think he's able to create really in depth, real, from the heart art. And that's still exciting to see in this day and age, especially for us as a band. We thrive on our artwork being always phenomenal, and I think what he did on this cover is it's so killer. It's something that'll catch your eye. It describes to us what Savage New Times is, and that's like an unfamiliar territory that we're all entering, and the green puke vinyl looks dope, and yeah, it came out great.
Collectors, grab your colors.
Limited pressing on the green, and it's got the new logo and everything that we're breaking out with this record being announced and coming out to the world.
It's so cool. I always said that artwork is important. I think a lot of metal band have understood that, and with times it proved because but thanks to the collector, you're important. So if you can grab a copy, I think you can pre-order right now. So go grab yours, of course, buy ticket and go catch them live. And if you don't have money, it's rough time. We understand. It's going to be available on every platform. The singles are available. Videos are on YouTube. Go check them and fucking like them. Break those fucking algorithm up there with some insight.
Yeah, man, that's what we need. Everybody spread the word. We appreciate you spreading the word. And, it's just great to see the feedback from this record. So I know the everyday heavy music listener can find something on this record to appreciate. There's so many kick-ass songs on this thing, and I can't wait for people to start hearing it.
Man, Richie, I had a blast. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your time. It's a real honor, and thank you, man, for losing money in the name of music.
Hey, man, it's all the love, appreciation, and I'll talk to you again real soon, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Richie. We're gonna wait in Quebec and Canada. See you later. Bye-bye.
Later, man. Keep it heavy.
Cheers.
Prescription is what you need. No more inhibition. Set yourself free. Just let go. That's my only plea. A punk prescription and